Hello there everybody. So tonight I'm going to make a quick video just showing off some rocks that I got done tumbling. A few of you guys have asked about them, so I figured why not, I'll go ahead and I'm sharing with you. They turned out pretty cool, so I'm excited to show them and see what you guys think. Alright, let's check them out. Alrighty, well here they are. I also got a box in the mail from Kyle over at World of Rock Hounds, and if any of you guys are interested in me doing a video on those, then I'll go ahead and do that. So just let me know what you think. If you want me to make a video, do an unboxing of those. I do a lot of unboxings and I don't like to have too much of the same kind of material, so but if you guys want to see it, I'll share them with you. But yeah, these ones turned out pretty darn good, I think. I'll go ahead and go through the process, what I usually do. I normally get a whole bunch of rocks tumbling. I have 3 different tumblers, and sometimes I'll just get all 3 tumblers running in the first stage, just grinding away, trying to get as many rocks as I can possibly ready past the first step. And then once I get, you know, a barrel or 2 3-pound barrels worth, then I'll go ahead and start tumbling. But I usually almost always have rocks going in the first step, just because it takes the longest. And once I get past, well, the first step is the 4670 grit. Once I get past that stage, then I go into a 120-220 mixture, and I run that for about a day, for about a week, and then I go into a straight 220 mixture, and then after that I go into 400 grit for a week, and then into 600 grit for a week, and then I'll do a 1000 silicon oxide for a week, and then I'll usually do it's a 1200 aluminum oxide. It's not a micro alumina, it's just a regular, I think it came from Polyplastics, and I usually run that for about 4 or 5 days, and then I'll run 5 days to a week on the micro alumina or cerium oxide, depending on whichever. And these were micro alumina. And one thing I'd like to point out with these is all I did was just simply rinse out the bucket with some soapy water and wash the rocks off real quick with soapy water. And no stages in between. Did I use borax? Did I use dish soap? Run it for a half a day or 6 hours? Nothing. I just I wanted to prove my point that I think a lot of times people unnecessarily, they're so paranoid, they think that there's going to be some rogue piece of coarse grit that's going to get in there and it's going to, no, it breaks down so quickly. It's not gonna, you're not gonna get the reasons, you know, someone's rocks failed and they didn't turn out that nice isn't because there was some rogue grit in there that made it in there and started, you know, it's because you didn't take enough time in the first step. You were tumbling some funky shaped rocks, or the type of rock that you were tumbling broke down and it caused problems with the other ones. It's not because you didn't clean them off properly in between each step. You know, you don't have to run them for 6 hours, 8 hours a day. And borax, that's unnecessary. As you can see with these rocks here, they got an amazing shine, and I didn't do any of that. You know, I do rinse them off, obviously, but I do not go through all the unnecessary steps of you know, the borax and the soap water in between each of the stages. every once in a while, I'll do it for a few hours, but this time I was like, I'm not going to do it at all. I just want to show everybody that you can get an amazing shine without borax and dish soap. However, the very final step, once you're done polishing, you do want to rinse off your rocks pretty well with some soapy water. I personally don't recommend using borax just because it's a powder, and I spent so much time getting a shine on it. I don't want anything interfering with that, so I'll use dish soap, or I'll use just a bar of soap. I'll scrape off some shavings. But this time I just used some ivory dish soap, and I let them go for 3 or 4 hours and just rinsed them off, and yeah, they turned out fine. So let's take a look at them now that we're done listening to me go on and on and on. Let's have some little rocks up here. These were I had gotten some. It was a bag of Lake Superior agates supposedly, but there wasn't a single agate in there. They were just like jasper and chalcedony. But anyways, I threw some in there just to have some filler, and I got these other little tiny bits. Some of them are kind of cool. I got like a little crazy lace piece in there. That's kind of neat. I think there's a fossil in here too somewhere. But yeah, not really spend too much time on the little ones. Got some cool agates here. Can't remember what these are. Some kind of pseudomorph. Turned out pretty cool. These here are some Moroccan Berber agates, they're called. Those are real pretty. I like these ones a lot. These ones might be my favorite ones in this batch. So I got that one, and I got this is the other one. Obviously I cut this in half and threw in the tumbler. So yeah, those ones turned out pretty nice. I have also a couple Bahia, I guess, that I cut in half. This side's pretty neat, but you can see there's a lot of quartz in it, and fortunately this one tumbled up pretty well. A lot of times when it's just all this compacted quartz, it'll start breaking down, and that'll cause problems in your tumbling process. Just tumbling quartz, you thought quartz was a good one to tumble, but sometimes it it'll break down and little pieces will chip off, and those little rough pieces will get in there and prevent your rocks from getting a nice shine. But you can see that didn't happen on this one. There's a tiny little spot right there. But a lot of the times when I see stuff like that, I won't even waste my time because I don't want it to ruin my rocks. That little pieces of quartz will break out in there. Here's another Bahia. Nothing amazing. It's not really too agate if you ask me. Of course, I bought it as an agate, but there's no banding. There's no patterns. I mean, that's kind of cool looking, but I would call that jasper right there. But obviously, got this big quartz pocket. But yeah, this the Bahia here. I got a nice Botswana. I think this one came from Charlie and Liz at the Adventure Closet. It's a pretty cool one. We got another Put some on it here. It's almost got like a little bit of a pinkish reddish color there. It's a really nice one. This one is this one's a really cool, like, Michigan beach rock. That it's like one of those that I find, I'm like, that's got to go in the tumbler right away. That one's just amazing, so cool. So it's like it's got some wood pattern or something on it, but it's got a cool little patch of quartz running through there. I thought that was kind of neat. Just an interesting rock. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Just a cool Lake Michigan beach rock that I was pretty sure would tumble up nicely, and it did. Also got this one here. It almost looks like it's black, but it's really dark green. And it's got more of this like a lighter pale green here. But that one's really cool. It felt pretty silicated, so I figured it would be a good one to tumble. And it was. Here's another cool little Lake Michigan beach rock that I found. This looks like it's some type of chert jasper material. But it's really cool. There's another Lake Michigan beach rock that I find. It's got this bluish, grayish, cream colored chert material. Sometimes I'll get a little bit of chalcedony in there, but I get really picky with these anymore. They pretty much got to be perfect, otherwise I'm not gonna waste my time with them just because they start undercutting. And this is a really nice one. That one turned out great. Nice job on that one. Let's see, we got some little pieces of unakite in there. Kind of different, you know. Some of it will be darker, some of it will be lighter. This is some of the darker stuff here. And get ones like this. This one was really cool. It's like a speckled one. Turned out nice. And some of them more like a grayish color. Greenish, grayish red. They're pretty cool too, I think. I'd still say that's unakite. Let's see. That's another Lake Michigan beach rock. Yeah, some of these, they look more like sandstone or mudstone, and those don't really tumble up very nicely. But you can just tell when they're on the beach, when they're really hard and smooth. They don't look like they're really grainy. They don't look like sandstone or too much like quartzite. They look more like jasper or chert. Then they tumble up nice. I got lucky with this one. It's got some pretty cool patterns and colors on that. Tumbled up nice. We got another Lake Michigan beach rock here. You can see the chert starts becoming more like a chalcedony here in some of it. A lot of times you'll find fossils and stuff like this too sometimes. Put in the UV light and some of it will get like an orange glow to it. So you usually can tell that if it was came from some type of organic materials when it gets that pale orange glow in the UV light. Let's see here. We just got a few more cool Lake Michigan beach rocks. Nice rounded shapes. I'm pretty sure this is another one that I had found that was like a maybe agate. Had some neat little things going on there. But I don't know what it is, but it's cool looking. Worth a ride to the house. Let's see what else we got here. I believe this is another Lake Michigan beach rock. It's almost kind of agate-y looking. I don't know, it's real pretty though. Pretty pink colors and almost kind of carnelian-ish kind of in some spots, but yeah, I like that one a lot. Let's see. This one is was gifted to me by my buddy Michael, and he said I could go ahead and tumble it and see if I could put a better shine on it. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better than what he gave me. One of the reasons I threw it in there just because I needed some filler, and this one was already perfectly rounded. This is a poppy jasper from Washington that he collected up there, and it's a really nice one. So yeah, he gave me permission to tumble it, so otherwise I wouldn't, try to outshine somebody, that's not what I do, but there's another little Lake Michigan pretty red rock. Some type of jasper, hematite or something in it. Got that deep red, almost kind of blackish gray in spots. Here's actually a piece of jasperite. Jasper and hematite, you can see it better in that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that red is just hematite also, but yeah. Those are called jasperites. Let's show off this one here. This one was I think some kind of cold water agate or something. Something that I found. I skipped the first couple steps. I think I went right into either 220 or 400 with this one because I didn't want to lose too much of it. And then I didn't polish this with the last of them. I just I got a toothbrush and some micro alumina, and I just kind of like got it wet and just kind of brushed it just to kind of experiment to see if I could put a nice shine on it. I had a couple rocks that I did that too. One of them I already gifted away. I should have included it in the video, but I gifted it to some friends. I just took a toothbrush and some micro alumina and got it wet, and I just kind of brushed it on there and then rinsed it off, and I thought it turned out all right. Went from 1000 grit right into the micro alumina with a toothbrush. Soft bristle brush. So if anybody's thinking of trying it, it works. Maybe I'll make a video. I'll show the process, and in case anybody's skeptic, they can see me doing it, and like, well, so that's what I did on that one, and it turned out okay, I think. I got some material from Jesse at Digging Appalachia, and he got this material down in Georgia. It's called Savannah Creek agate or something like that, and it's not really agate, I don't think. It's more like a chert, but it's you know, some of it looks like it's got some chalcedony in there. Really pretty. It took a little while to get some nice shapes. I had to take some actually down and grind it down with my tile saw. Otherwise, afraid I was gonna lose too much of the material just in the tumbling process. So I figured, you know, why not just grind it down and help it out a little bit. So I had a few pieces that I had to do that too, but this one turned out really nice. I got quite a few pieces from them that I tumbled. You can see why somebody would call it agate. You know, I'm not gonna argue with no one. You can call it whatever you want. I think he called it Savannah Creek Chert. I think it's what he called it. And it comes from Georgia. This is a really nice piece here. I did have one piece that the back side of it, a little piece of it broke off, so I gotta retumble it. But yeah, I caught it in time. I took it out, and I didn't want it to tumble with the other ones, so. And this one's definitely more cherty, more like a jasper material than an agate. You know, it's not translucent in any way. There's no patterns or banding or anything, but that's definitely a cool rock, and it's worth polishing. This one I think is a Crowley. Every once in a while I think I run out of Crowleys, but lo and behold, I think I found another one that I did with a rock trade with Will Bond a couple of years ago. He sent me some cool ones, and this one's got a lot of red in it. That one's really neat. It's got some orange too. I don't think it's a Bahia. I don't know, you guys can let me know what you think. Do you think it was a Crowley or do you think it was a Bahia? I don't know. But usually the Crowleys that I get from him, they have these big indentations in them. And anyways, that's a pretty one, whatever it was. Kind of leaning more towards the Bahia, but I'll let Will chime in on it because he would know either way if it was a Bahia or a Crowley. He's the master at tumbling those. Here we have some Indonesian stick agate that I've been tumbling for a while, and because of the host rock that this comes on, it just wears away really funny, and it undercuts, and so it took a while in the first step, but once I got it to the point where I thought it would do all right, you know, then it was fine in the later steps. There's no problems, but yeah, you can see the cool little stick patterns in it. And you got another piece of Indonesian stick agate. Wasn't sure how this one was going to turn out, but it did pretty good. I was just hoping it wasn't going to break and crack and all these things, but just a weird shaped, weird looking rock. But it definitely had it's definitely pretty solid. So that's a nice one. That one turned out really good also. This one is another Lake Michigan beach rock. This is some sort of quartzite. Really pretty. This one's probably my favorite one. This is a thunder egg core, just the heart of the thunder egg. And this is another one that I spent quite a while in the first step. You know, you had to make sure you get all the rough spots off and all the rhyolite worn off, and you don't want any sharp points. You have to make sure that this isn't gonna be rubbing against another rock in a weird way, you know. And because like I said, that'll ruin it. It's not because you didn't use borax or run it for 6 hours in soapy water or nothing. That's not the problem. It's the type of rock that you're tumbling almost always. It's the material. You know, we'll be like, well, how come these ones turned out nice and these ones didn't? Well, yeah, we all make mistakes, things to learn from. But it's like when you're working with wood and you get like a coarse sandpaper. If anybody's ever worked with, you know, wood or sanded down drywall or whatever, you're only going to use that sandpaper for so long before that the sandpaper just becomes smooth. All the grit's done worn off of it. It's no longer effective. It's time to throw the piece of paper away and get a new piece. And it's like that with rocks with grit too. The coarse grit's only going to last so long, and then it's just going to break down and wear down, and you either got to recharge it or move on to the next step. It's the exact same principle. And when you're working with wood and with metal, and when you're polishing anything, you're going to spend a lot more time in the first steps. And when you get towards progressively get higher and higher with your grit, it should take less amount of time. So some people think that they need to tumble for 2 weeks in the polishing process, and that's unnecessary. That's unnecessary. The longer you run it in that process, the more likely the rocks are going to break down, and then you spent all that time trying to get a nice shine, and then because you ran it for 2 weeks or something, and then it's ruined, and then you got to start over. So I've done that. It's frustrating. I find that you just 1 week is plenty. Sometimes even 4 or 5 days in microlumina. It's all you need. Cerium oxide, a nice, good quality polish makes a world of difference. And that's another thing. Not only is it the material that you're polishing, but the very final step to polish is one of the huge factors. You got to use a good grade of polish. And also, if you use something that's real fine like I use, like microlumina, sometimes it has a tendency to get inside cracks, and it'll split them open. So the longer that you're running it in certain types of rock, the more likely, like petrified wood, gets a lot of cracks in it. The microlumina gets inside those cracks, and next thing you know, it chips and breaks off a piece. And now you gotta take that petrified wood and go all the way back a few steps. And so yeah, I'm just giving you guys some tips, things that I've learned, you know, and I can show you guys here. You can say, oh yeah, these look really nice, Sean. And I'm like, well, yeah, thank you. I appreciate the compliments. Anything I can do to help others in the process also. By no means do I claim to know everything, but I just like to share my tips with people, and if there's a lot of information that gets spread on different channels on YouTube, and people just keep repeating the same thing that they've heard, and they don't know any better. And a lot of it, I believe, it's misinformation. You know, they'll say something like anything that ends in ITE doesn't polish very good. Well, that's complete hogwash. But people still say that anything that ends in ITE doesn't take a shine. That's not true. You know, fluorite and granite, those are hard to polish, yes. But that's off the top of my head, those are like the only two rocks that I can think of that end in ITE that, you know, don't tumble very well. I just really like this Indonesian stick agate. This is just so cool. Beautiful, beautiful. Honey golden color. I just love the earth tones. Whites and yellows and creams and honey colors. Let's see, what else do we got here? This is another Lake Michigan beach rock that I found. It looks almost like a piece of quartzite. You know, you can see that sandy greeny, or it looks like it was sandstone at one time and it metamorphed into quartzite. It's got some red iron staining in it, really pretty. It's a neat one. There's some more interesting Lake Michigan beach rocks that I found. There's no cracks or undercutting in that one, so that one was a good one to tumble. So we can make these into jewelry too or something. What we got here? This looks like some of that Savannah Creek stuff that I got from Jesse at Diggin' Appalachia. Definitely go check out his channel if you've not checked out his channel. You find some pretty cool stuff. A couple of really nice rock trades I've done with him. Very pleased with. Sent me some nice wire wrap jewelry, which is cool because I don't know how to do that and I'm just not patient enough for it, but he does amazing work. And it's a piece of crazy lace. This stuff takes forever to tumble. It has a tendency to undercut and break down, and you might get impatient with it and just try to rush it along. But there again, you know, something like that's going to cause problems, and it'll prevent you from getting a nice shine. You notice a lot of these, they're all nice rounded rocks. We don't see any rocks really that are undercutting. Some kind of agate. Look at the red in that one. Wow, that's beautiful. I think this one was one that I had found. I think this was a piece of favosites, if I remember properly. I don't really see any coral pattern on it, but I might be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure it was a Lake Michigan beach rock. That's what a lot of these little tiny ones are. This was piece of that Savannah Creek stuff there. Got some really nice pieces out of that. Really nice ones. Make sure you take the time in step one. I know it takes a long time, but it's worth it if you just take the time. Make sure they're nice and rounded, nice and smooth. You'll be happy with your results in the end. You know, it takes a long time to tumble rocks, and it helps if you have multiple tumblers, so then you're not waiting so long on just one batch. But this is a piece of a thunder egg here. You can see the rhyolite there. Just a piece of a thunder egg that I threw in there and decided to tumble. This was a piece of Jafar jasper. It's almost like black. Well, it is black, but I think I had to try tumbling this piece before. I had these little cracks in there, and it just didn't turn out so well. So I retumbled it, and it turned out much better the second time around. Some more of that Savannah Creek there. Sorry, this is taking a while here, but once I start playing with rocks, it's, man. Here we have a piece of that railroad chert from Nick and Lily. I had tumbled some before, and I wanted to see how it turned out before I tumbled any more of it. I only had a few pieces that I really thought were even gonna tumble up very nicely, but this one here turned out okay. It's this other lighter colored stuff that seems to cause problems when I'm tumbling it. Here's a nice little thunder egg core. This one surprisingly didn't fall apart. I kept thinking that it wasn't gonna turn out well, but lo and behold, it held up. It was one of the Richardson's. It's got that really deep chocolatey reddish brown rhyolite. That stuff seems to do all right. So I've got more thunder egg pieces that I'll be tumbling in the future. Some kind of jasper material there. This looks like it was a piece of that Indonesian stick agate. That's what it looks like. I don't see any petrified wood in this batch. There's another piece of that blue chert. Lake Michigan blue chert. Got a lot of blue chert in Wisconsin here. It's one of our nicer rocks that we have. And we got this one here. I think it was some type of crazy lace. Laguna lace. That was pretty wild though. Like that. Really cool. This one, I was wondering, it might even be cool if I cut it open. Looks to be like some kind of agate. I'm not sure. This one came in a mystery box of rocks, but tumbled up nicely. Whatever it is. To Lake Michigan beach rock. Here's a little. I think this is that little favosites piece I was thinking about. Yeah, I knew I had a little piece of coral in it that had some pretty colors. That's a neat one. It's another one you got to be careful with the favosites. These like with quartz, you know, these little pockets will break open, and then that's just going to cause problems. But this one was pretty silicated. You can tell when it's get all these colors like that. Those are good ones. They're not calcite. They're not. These ones are in pretty good shape to tumble. Not all of them are, but these ones, like with those colors like that, are almost always good ones to tumble. Oops, yeah. Slippery little boogers. This one, you can see the purple in there, a little bit of a orangish, and then the green. I think this is a koi mito. Really pretty purples and koi mitos. I like those a lot. Just a little piece of chalcedony, some kind of chalcedony. I don't know where it came from, but might be Moroccan agate or something, more than likely, but I don't know. Alrighty, well, sorry this took so long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which one's your guys' favorite. So I really like this. I like this thunder egg piece, and I really like these Berber agates here a lot. These ones are some of my favorites. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care and rock on.